Hello, and welcome to the stream. Yeah, it's been a long time. I'm Will Forge, and today we will forge. So, hit this tweet button down here. Tweet out that we're live, because I not been live in a very long time. Yeah, let's fly around and take a look at what we have. So, yeah, it's been a while. I'm just gonna fly around, show newcomers what the cave is like, and talk about why it was taking for so long, you know, give a little bit of an explanation, because how long it's been. I think it warrants a little small explanation, at least. And I might give a more detailed explanation later, but basically, yeah, I had, you know, basically we moved, you know about that, because we had been, you know, I went live and sort of, you know, had a bit of that. It's real dark over here right now because the sunlight is in a weird spot while I was building over here. Anyway, over on the other side. So basically, yeah, so we had to move, and then new place had no good internet. It was getting like 100 megabits, 150 megabits. You know, you saw on stream, I got some decent after a lot of work, but it wasn't good enough, and I was having all sorts of connection issues. And then, yeah, so then I was dealing with that, and then in the middle of that, we had a new baby, and then, you know, after that was done, the connectivity issues were still happening, and it was still having issues. Oh, let me build out, because I just realized I fly back up there. The lighting, I forgot the light. There we go. The lights sometimes drop through the floor, so I wanted to build that out to check that. So anyway, the yeah, so we have you know, had a bunch of, basically just a ton of stuff going on, a whole bunch of life issues getting in the way to where I could not stream, and I couldn't even work on the map. But you will notice, I'll get to the new stuff that I had built out. I did build out this terrain, which looks okay-ish right now, but this light is not gonna be here. The way that it's gonna look once it's like nice and dark and like shadowy, because this cave is gonna be very dark, more like this area a little bit, but even darker than that. It's gonna be under shadow, and I'm going to smooth out those edges a little bit later on if necessary. But yeah, basically you won't notice it, especially since you won't be up that high most of the time. But yeah. I do think that the shape is all correct, though, and that's the important thing. You've got your little ledges. This area I had to adjust, so whenever I copied over to the other side, I'm going to have to delete this version, because this one is, the angle is all wrong. Yeah, all sorts of stuff like that. But we do have some ground now, and we've got this hill is actually correct. It's got the slope. It's got a cave. The cave isn't quite... Yeah, I want to make it a little bit cooler shape, because there's a little bit of a different shape to it on the outside, but otherwise it's correct. We've got the building. The building is correct. Last stream, which was weeks ago, we had found that there was a big old problem where a bunch of pieces had been shipped to the side. I tried fixing it on stream, but then we determined that that was not the route to take. It ended up being a problem where I needed to revert to an older save, and that meant that this thing, which I had already built out most of the way, like I got into like there, I needed to copy it from the other save, from the newer save that was had the broken base, and turn into a prefab, put it into this one, which is an older save, which it's just really cool tools to work with Modern Forge. Infinite's Forge. But yeah, so I was starting to build this out last time I was in here, which was like yesterday. I was trying to give it a try. I had done all this with the really shitty internet. All this stuff was a lot of work to get in here, because every single move that I made could like just completely wreck the internet. And yeah, so I realized was that this needs to move over more. Because while it's kind of correct, it's supposed to have a straight part and then come out at an angle. So this part actually needs to be rotated more like that. Have it be there. That's the thing I had realized whenever I was in the classic map. Right after doing a bunch of work. I looked at the classic map and realized, oh, that's not right. Yeah. So let me go ahead and I think I don't have the correct screen up on my side. That's not right. Oh yeah, I did. I was opening this up so I could show you the speed I'm getting, but that's not really all that important right now. Because I did explain that I've got better speed now. I'm getting like 700 to 900 megabits per second, finally. Like I'm supposed to. Awesome. Okay, I can see in chat now. Somebody said, looking good. It's Mr. Greencastle. Cool. So let's see. We've got, and good. The bitrate is in the green right now, which is fantastic. I was really worried that I was gonna go live and it's gonna turn out that I have more internet problems because there were so many issues so far. Alright, so that's much more like it. It should angle and then go into there like that. Okay. Now this thing I had at a correct angle, but now I've got this problem. Okay, maybe I need to move it back a little more so I can meld it into that wall. Because that... yeah, looks good. Because there's a decent amount down here, but the important thing is that this wall is correct up here. I can also angle it a little better. Oh, that's going on. I'm also, yeah, I'm on world movement. It shouldn't be all wonky, but it's just having some weird troubles. Okay, so let's rotate that, and I think I need to make this still a little bit thinner, so it'll fit a little better. Okay, there we go. That looks much better. And make sure it's not clipping into the inside. Yeah, we're good. And now I need to go up from here. And this is going to be built out, framed around it. I kind of got this little... I was getting this little angle here because I figured the rock face here probably been blasted away a few times in some firefight sometimes, so I got that little bit of angle there. And yeah, let's see. I think I'm going to go to Blender. Get myself a good angle on this. Yeah, so the top part goes in to a curve. This part is supposed to hit where it curves around. Right around. Yeah, so this is gonna go down and actually curve at that angle. Then fit in here. It's gonna be actually a little bit of a steeper angle. It hits. That should be about what we're looking at there. And I believe actually we'll want to slope it a bit because I think it's gonna go ahead and slope up into the ceiling a little bit. No, it's pretty flat actually. I mean, it kind of goes in and then back out. It's pretty close to flat in this area. It will be a little bit sloped, but not too much. So we'll go like that. There we go. Yeah, that'll give us a little slope, and then we'll come back out, and it'll look like a good angle. Okay. And actually, I think since this is so high up, can we... we're clipping through for sure. Definitely need to go a little higher. There we go. But can we thicken it up to make sure that clipping, like the way it touches with this side, has more thickness to sort of make a nice smooth transition? We go that way, and then we bring it back a little bit. Actually, we might be able to make it more of an angle. Yeah, there we go. That's more correct. Is it practically flat now? So maybe it wouldn't be correct for this thing. Anyway, that looks good. That looks good. I'll see. You. Oops. Let's not go through the floor here. I want to be able to see. There we go. Okay, so there we have it. Okay, cool. Alright, man, I have been away for so long. I also feel a little bit rusty, even though I think I'm probably doing okay with the tools. I feel like I'm very rusty with the tools at the same time. Just from being away that much. So this one's probably going to have to be... well, first of all, I'm going to rotate it this way. I definitely like that slope a lot. But also, I don't want it to clip through here. Maybe I can't make it as thick as I was just making it. And still keep the sort of facade style of application. Because it's, you know, this would be on the building itself. Actually kind of like this part, where it looks like it had more rock here that maybe got blasted away at some point. Just like over here, kind of looks like it got like destroyed. Up there looks like it got hit by, you know, a rocket or something, and the whole thing collapsed and then got cleared away. And with this little slope here, it's like a whole layer of stone here got blasted away at some point. Which I kind of like that a lot. Okay, but down here, let's see, that doesn't look quite right. Might need to do some adjustments there. See, it's got that slope. I don't know if you can see this in the bottom right corner, but this slope here has that angle. That's what I was trying to recreate with my slope over there. For some good good design for to match the original. But it shouldn't go up that high, so I think I need to shorten it and bring it down. I can still have that shape there, and make sure it's not clipping in. You can clip through here, that's just fine. But then now it's got that slope going up, and we can put another piece right here that will kind of transition into that. It'd be more of an angle, and that's what I'm going to do now. Let's see about making it a little bit thicker, and then rotating it a bit. You can go a long way with the same rock pieces over and over and over again, I have to say. For now, that's not bad. I do think I like how it bulges up right here around the point where it goes in. Doesn't do that in the original, but it makes more sense to have a sort of extra buildup right there, because it would cling to, as the condensate, I mean the what do you call it, the sediment drips down here, it would cling to surfaces like this and then slowly build up layer after layer right here. So that does make sense, I think, to make this work. I'm going to pull this out a little bit. Go. Still makes that a little bit off, a little bit awkward. There we go. That'll keep my bulge up there, but get my pull a little different. No, I did want here sloping into it. So I think this might be. I need to leave that there, which is fine. I just wanted to see if I could put a little rock there to smooth that up. But anyway, okay, so it looks good so far. Now I need this to come down and across and down into the ground back here, and I need it to go over this doorway. I think that once I get over this doorway, I can find the rest of the slope really easily. Let's see. Okay. Let's really thin. Put it into there. Let's see, is it gonna poke through the base? How far down can I go? About that far. That's, oop, wait, did I poke? No, yeah. That's inside the ceiling. Okay, cool. Alright. Alright, here we go. And I've been away a long time, and I'm not really expecting too many viewers today because I know I've been gone and everybody's probably, you know, had to found other things to do in the morning. But really hope that that is not too big of a deal. I've heard that streamers don't actually need to worry too much about that. But like last time, like I said last time, I think I was streaming, I do get a little bit of anxiety that I've gone and messed up and been away too long. But I'm trying to ignore that. Trying to ignore that and let it go how it's gonna go. And sort of I don't know. I'm just like, I'm also very exhausted from the baby. New baby, very exhausting. First couple of days is always the hardest. And got like, you know, effects of like postpartum depression and all that kind of stuff. It gets very tough, especially right after the birth. And then you eventually get past that and everybody's happy. But that is just the way it goes. Get that out of my wall. There we go. Perfect. Oh no, not perfect. Look at that. Oof. Oh no. Okay, so we need to... Are we going to have to use a different piece? Because this is refusing to go sharp enough, it looks like. Maybe if we... Wait, what? Is it not on the wall anymore? Okay, it's not poking through. Oh, I made it too far forward though. Okay. So I think I need to make this one shorter again. And then that will allow me to get it into the floor at the appropriate location without it poking through the floor. Now it's at the appropriate height because it's good. It doesn't poke through. It does poke through over here a little bit. There we go. Now we're good. Nope. I gotta rotate it, I guess. To the wall. Not poking out. Oof. That's a weird little thing. AT&T. Ah, yeah. There's some weird, my, phone company, the company that, you know, what do you call it? Cell phone provider. They're messing up lately. There's a, problem. I think I might go ahead and use a different piece. I might use one of these. Because, like, after all this, it's still having trouble. I think this is a different piece. I don't think I was using the same piece. Yes? I don't remember. We're going to find out. I'm going to put it in there. Actually, I can find out right now. I can go... What is that? Rock G. Rock B. Yeah, it's not the same piece. Cool. That's what we're going to use. We're going to try to use this piece. But yeah, anyway. We're getting a lot of... like everyone on AT&T, or a lot of people on AT&T, getting this huge amount of spam text messages from, like, you know, the emergency text message system where, like, it'll text you and it'll bypass your normal inbox and just go straight to your phone, onto your screen, with a pop-up saying something to the effect of, you know, oh yeah, you're gonna have, you know, there's a hurricane warning in, or not hurricane, like a tornado warning in your area, or a flash flood warning in your area. Well, somebody has figured out a way to send those to AT&T customers without AT&T flagging it and stopping it. So a lot of us are in their forums being like, hey guys, listen, you gotta do something about this. We're getting messages that pop up on our screen that bypass I don't have to open it, it just is there. And it'll have a phishing scheme built into it with links, and like I'll be in the middle of using my cell phone for something else, and then suddenly it'll just pop up and look and just be you know, instantly in my face and easy to just accidentally hit a link, because there's no way to know it when it's going to come, you know, it just appears. And they were acting like it was just regular text messages in the forums. They kept on giving the same advice. Oh, just go in and report it. Just go and report it. It's like, you can't report these because they are not normal text messages. They don't have a report button. They don't have a way of doing so. They don't even show you the contact of the sender. It's just done. You just have to suffer it, basically. And you guys are supposed to block it. And apparently other ISPs do block these whenever people hijack the system, and AT&T just doesn't. So that's fun. It's been a thing that's been over the holidays, especially, that like a lot of people are going through. It's pretty bad. Oh, right. So new baby's name is Guinevere. We like it a lot. We've always, you know, my wife and I are very nerdy, so of course we chose, you know, Guinevere or something like it. But yeah, it's she's adorable, and yeah, it's been pretty good. She did wake my wife up like you know, the you know, in Men in Black, whenever Agent K, Will Smith, has to help that alien lady give birth in the car, and immediately afterward he's like, oh, this actually looks kind of cute, and then like it pukes in his face with like this just everywhere, and he's just covered in it. Yeah, that happened not last night, night before last, to my wife, and that's how she was woken up that day. Well, actually, we had to go back to sleep because it was kind of really early in the morning, but we had not had enough sleep. I think I'm going to slope this a little more because I need that slope there to work. So I'm going to go up top and see how that comes out. I think I like... Oop, nope, too far down. Let's just go to there. There we go. Now it looks like the same thing, like it got broken away, like I said before, but it's not too thick. There we go. That's going to be inside the wall, isn't it? Whoa, no. Cool. Awesome. Thank goodness. Needs to probably... You know what? I think this needs to flip over. The reason is because the way that it kind of gets thicker up here, it's going to make it easier to position in this spot, because I can make it slope but then also remain thicker at the top. I can put it there into that piece. Maybe this isn't a good spot here, but let's see. How's everybody else doing, by the way? Like last time I didn't get to really do a proper stream because there was all those mess ups in the thing. I wanted to ask everybody how their Christmas had been, and now it's like Christmas and New Year's. I did kind of, and I got to ask a little bit, but then like I feel like I didn't really get to do anything that stream, and I was like, ugh. And now I'm wondering, how has everybody been? Like, you know, just in general, New Year's, Christmas, everything going on. Because, you know, I've been having rough stuff, but not too bad. Not like actual, you know, stuff going, like actual bad stuff going on, just rough times. Rough, not bad. That's what I mean to say. But, hoping you guys are having better times than all that. Not having to deal with all that stuff. See, I think I wanted that slope there on that side. Then this side works so much better. I don't know. I think I'm gonna flip it around. Try to rotate it a little differently. Because like I got into a good spot, except for at the bottom, where everything else lined up good. Actually, that curve is pretty nice. That'll make this really easy to make it as good sloping sort of fall off as it goes higher. I like that. Okay. Of course, it's not actually working here. I think that slope down there was based on the way that I had it angled, and that was only there because now I've got to slope it a different way. It's not working. I think I need to find another piece for down here, because this piece is not wanting to work. I'm also thinking that this piece, yeah, I'm not sure about any of this doorway, to be honest. Okay, let's see. And I've got a bunch of these over here. I think that these have a good, almost triangular shape, which might be good for the doorway, for the arch of the doorway. If I angle it just right. It's not exactly a triangle, but sort of has a triangle, and that might actually, the lack of actual triangle might actually help. Because like I could angle that little hook there into there like that, and get myself a good, you know, like that, see? But obviously, I need the size to be very different. That's the thing I can do. Obviously, ooh, definitely don't want it that tall. There we go. Oh wow, that actually fits into it like that. Maybe I could put two of these side by side and feed them into another rock up there. Make a nice little transition. No, I think I actually do want, if I go down here. Okay. This is sort of a soft relaunch of the stream, by the way. I'm not trying to get like a ton of viewers. I'm mostly just trying to get back into the swing of things. Get back into the tools, which are kind of, you know, said I'm a little rusty at. Figure out what's happening. How I'm doing with the how far along I am. Which is like we stalled out at like 80% or so. Maybe 85% or something. The way done, and I feel like big L on my part because of a bunch of life stuff, as you know, as I've been saying the whole time. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about all that, and we're gonna talk about something else. If you guys got anything else to chat about, want to talk to me about, I can. Otherwise, I have some ideas. I had let's see. Go. Or we can just talk about how what alterations I'm making, what changes I'm making. Like Bob Ross style. Which is kind of the vibe I was going for originally. I wanted a sort of a Bob Ross style stream. Where like, I'm just like, yeah, we're gonna scale this, move this over here, do this. Which I like, I think is, a lot of people are saying, I love how you just like, say what you're doing, and you know, and I was like, yeah, that's what I was going for. Thanks. Let's try and copy this, and we're gonna have to flip it around. It's this side. Ooh, I hope this side works out okay. So that's a little bit different in its shape, which might be a good thing. It'll make one side look more unique from the other. I'm just glad the bases are so far apart that the only way to really scrutinize that they're going to be nearly identical is if you're on Xbox with split screen. You know, it's gonna be like, yeah, you're gonna have to. You wanna find out that the bases are nearly identical. You're gonna have to, like the original, by the way, and like a lot of maps just do identical bases on both sides. You know, this is not allowing me to. I think well, technically you can stand on it, like you're supposed to be able to, but I don't think that that's enough. I think it needs to be further back, which I moved that rock down there, so it should be able to go further back. But also, like, maybe rotation there. That. I didn't want it to poke out so far over here, so I might need to adjust some other stuff out of the way. But, yeah. It's pretty good so far, but let's see. It would be nice if we could, like, if we had the time, like, I don't know if I'm gonna have the time to do this, but there's no way. To, like, be able to hand build the cave on both sides so that they specifically are not the same. That would be, I think, pretty insane. Let's see. We've got that there. Let's try and bring it back. Let's see how far back we can go with it. That's where we start clipping through. Right around there. Okay, that's as far back as we can go. There's a little bit of room up on top there, which is pretty good. Okay. Yeah, I think that this side... No, that's not really going to help. It's going to try and slope it a certain way, but that wouldn't really help in this case. Let's see. I think I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to do another one of these. G. It's just got more straight edges. Like a square, like a rectangle. That's why I was using it in the cave wall. Let's see. I stretch it out this way, which is the straightest edge. I would say that one looks to be. Although down there does look pretty straight too. It's got a bit of a curve to it. But nothing too bad. And I'm going to go ahead and move it into here. Slope it this way. Maybe too much. There we go. And let's give it some thickness. I think I might want to turn it around because it looks like that side's a little more rounded. Where it curves up top there. I can put that inside here. And maybe bring it a little thinner. So poke out all the way over there. I want it to share the space with the other rocks that I have in place instead of trying to take over. There we go. Okay. I think the rock is going to wrap around, so that little tiny gap there is not going to be a big deal. It's going to wrap this way, right out of the door frame, I believe. Bring that down. Oop, no, bring it back. It's poking through. Their hole there? Not especially an actual hole. More like a broken chunk of rock. Which might look pretty good. Although I think that this one does need to go back further in there. Door frame. I really do think that one needs to go further in. Which means I need to work out where it's gonna go otherwise. You know what? I'm gonna make the whole thing smaller. Bring it back in. This. The smaller this piece is, the less, you know, impactful it is on the overall shape of the area. So that's what I'm gonna do. This one I'm gonna slope in this so it doesn't protrude too much from there. I kind of don't like how stretched out it got. And if I can bring it down more, it might have been a little too much. Okay. Don't want that to poke out like that. Let's see. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yeah, hold on. Let's get back up there. Get some fresh eyes on it. Yeah, there we go. I like that. It appears to have come out pretty nicely. It got that effect where it looks like some of the stone broke away. You can get up here very easily. You can also, I believe, clamber up here. Well, no, you can't. Just kind of. No, yeah, you can probably right here, I imagine. No, I guess because it's such a thin amount of space, you can't clamber there. Or I'm just too high. But you can crouch jump up here. Which means old school players are going to have an easier time with that than if they want to take advantage of that. Like if someone's coming down that ramp and they want to get them from above. You do crouch jumping. Which you should. Everyone should. Crouch jumping is oftentimes superior to clambering. Because it just, you end up you don't have to like pause for a second, you know, between shooting. Let's see. I think we're gonna, you don't lose your gun for a second, so it can actually be really useful. Oh, you know what? This is gonna be a corner piece. Here we go. There we go. Get that curve in there. That looks pretty good. I don't like how it's transitioning to this side. Which could be this piece problem, because it's kind of curved. Slow down the movement. That actually fixes that little sort of divot at the bottom, at that little hole, which was interesting, but it wasn't like good. So now it's better, and we can go this way. That's right, I was going to make it taller. There we go. Let's see. To that. Smooth it out. Really like that. That looks like it's all piece. Don't like this this little joint here. So I'm gonna that looks like one big rock surface, rock face. That doesn't quite. Once again, doesn't quite. It's there. This will. There we go. Now it's got overlapping pieces. Okay. That's looking good. Now we've got to build out some more as it goes around this corner and creates a little cave there. I am hearing that a lot of creators, a lot of the YouTubers and stuff like that, and I'm watching some of the YouTubers do it, are sort of quitting Infinite. I don't appreciate that, because I am still rather enjoying Infinite. I'm watching them do it and I'm like, guys, seriously, you're gonna be fine, I'm sure, right? I mean, I know it's they've already gotten to a point where it's like their livelihood. So, and I'm not there. It's not my livelihood. In fact, I'm getting nothing out of it. Except for enjoying myself on stream and making a map and hanging out with people. Cool people. Yeah, I don't know. I'm watching them all, like, slowly, each one after another, be like quitting Infinite, and I'm like, guys, Let's, I didn't want you to go watch you do Call of Duty. I don't even like Call of Duty. So you're losing some of your viewers, I'm sure. Doing all that. I haven't watched a Hidden Xperia stream, or I mean a video for like 2 weeks almost. Whenever he started going off and doing Call of Duty and all that. Haven't watched, been watching Kevin Coolx. In fact, I might have him open still. Oh, that's the Act Man there. Ah, yes, the Act Man talking about Logan Paul. I think the Act Man is probably the best at doing non-Halo content out of those guys. For sure. There we go. Yep, it goes right in between that door and there. It's a very shallow little doorway that goes into this drop. Let's see. So, like, yeah, I do like the Act Man stuff. I think that his switch has been okay. His transition has been okay to that. But I don't know. I'm gonna go back shorter than that, but not as tall as it was before. There we go. Let's see what's in here. What do you guys think about the state of Halo YouTube and the Halo YouTubers rather, and how they're handling all these you know, this title. So I feel like they're doing as well as to be expected, I suppose. But at the same time, I'm like, I mean, they drive the hype. They're influencers, right? They should be able to influence people, not just ride the wave. Someone give points, get them before they're gone. I think I've got to block that person or something, because I've been getting that 2 or 3 times today. Let's see. Let's see here. Okay, so this is riveting rock placement, I know, but let's see. Let's see how this goes. This should definitely, eventually come to... The problem was that there was a lot of, like, for me, like, I ended up disappearing right in the middle of, I think, the most, like, just before the hype for Halo's, Halo Infinite's Forge slowly starts to wane, and I don't think it's going to be gone forever. I honestly don't. I think that, you know, the what do you call it, custom game browser being fast-tracked like they did was fantastic work. I'm really happy about that. I haven't gotten to play it a whole lot, but I'm really happy that they managed it. I think that, though, that they're going to have some more work ahead of them with that, because it's definitely in need of more TLC. And they know that. That's what they're saying. They were like, yeah, this is a sort of almost a beta of the custom game browser, which is great. That we're getting, you know, something. But yeah, hopefully they, you know, what I'm expecting, just hopefully, what I'm expecting is that, you know, we're going to be making a bunch of really great Forge content. A lot of us, you know, all us Forgers. And people are not going to look at it. People are going to ignore it. And then, after a little while of that, custom game browser already out and everything, people are going to start slowly checking out. They're going to be trickling back in and checking out what's available. And the main thing that needs to exist before they start trickling in and checking things out is the ability to, like, if I can host my maps, even without being, you know, available. Like, if I could set myself up as a spectator and host a match where I'm always there as a spectator and everyone else joins in as actual players. That would work, but I think that would work right now. And if you have a map out there, I would suggest that you do that. That you would, I would suggest that anyone who has a map already out right now should go in there and be like, it should set up every day or any time that their game crashes or fails or something like that. Actually, you might have to manually start it over again, aren't you? Bet you have to. But you've got to manually do it, in which case this wouldn't work. But if someone could set up a little script that that just activates, you know, your thing after each match, then that would work. But basically, yeah, so if basically we had the, like if you go in there and you're like, hey, you start a map basically as a spectator, with a match, I mean, as a spectator with your map going. And then you, then every single day there's at least one version of your map going at all times. And that's one of the things that the other custom game browser has, I think, right, on Master Chief Collection, has the ability to just like start a match and then but not be in it. Or maybe I'm wrong, actually. That may not be the case. You may also there have to be present at all times. But yeah, anyway, that's the point of the of this method, is if you can set yourself as a spectator and let your map just go, then that should allow you to get players into it even whenever you're not there. And when players come trickling back in to try and find out what all has been made since they were playing last, since the winter update, you know, your stuff needs to be there, ready to go. If it's not, then they're just gonna, then they won't see it. If yours is the best stuff that's out there, then it's gonna be, then they're gonna look at it and be like, oh well, there's nothing good. He's live. Yes, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. How's it going? Yeah, I am alive and well and with a new baby, and everything's going great. We just have been very exhausted, and I haven't been able to get in here, especially because I had ISP problems, internet issues, and that was rough. Like, trying to get the internet just working here properly has been a pain in the butt. But now I'm getting, for the first time in the entire time that I've been paying for gigabyte internet, Gigablast they call it, with this ISP, Gigablast. It's for the first time ever, I'm actually getting gigabyte internet, like 1G. Well, I'm getting like 900, 800 something, and it's great. Oh, thank you. You say congratulations on the baby. Yes, we named her Guinevere because we're nerds, and we thought it fit her. Like, you know how you can look at somebody and you can tell, well, that name suits them. You know what I mean? With her, it suits her. Guinevere suits her as a name. And we always do that. Every child we've had, we've waited and waited, created lists and lists, agonized over lists of names, and then in the hospital, while, you know, like during recovery after the birth, we're like, okay, now we go over our lists and we decide what is the name of this baby. And that's how we've always done it. And it worked out this time too, although it was slightly more painful than last time. It was very difficult to figure out best name. And but eventually we did, and we're happy with it. But let's see. that is a challenge if for whenever you have kids is coming up with a name, because you gotta think about it. You're like, this child is a person. Is gonna have to live with this decision I am making for the rest of their life. This decision that they don't even get to make is going to affect the rest of their life. They're gonna be like trying to get jobs with this name. They're gonna be trying to trying to meet people with this name, and it's going to be my decision right now is affecting it could affect their entire life. And it's like there's a lot in a name. You got to pick a name that sounds right, that feels right for them. It's very hard. It's like, yeah. There we go. That's a pretty decent little archway. I feel like that looks great for now. I don't think you could, I believe. Let me go to Master Chief Collection for just a second. Down the low right corner in a little boring spot. Because it's hard to see. Nice name. Such a decision is never easy. The main thing is that you and your daughter like the name. Exactly. I hope she likes it as she gets older. Yeah, you can't actually even really stand on this in the original. I mean, you can kind of get a bit of a perch right there, especially if you hold the joystick up. Yeah, not even really. You can kind of, yeah, and then you slide off and fall. Okay, so that's good. That tells me that this is perfectly fine, that I can't find purchase on top there. That's fine, because you couldn't before. Alright. Man, the up-res of Infinite is looking nice by comparison. The rocks alone are just so much nicer design. Okay, so yeah, here we go. I always try to start at 9, and then I end up starting at like 10. And then like around 11 is whenever everybody kind of actually shows up. For me, my time. Obviously, it's probably not 11 where you guys are. Or if it is, it's... You know, who knows? That's probably because that's probably around y'all's lunchtime or something. I assume. Is probably one of the reasons why. But yeah, let's see. I think that's probably just better timing for y'all's lunch, which is good because if I'm already in the swing of things, then I'm already moving. You know, I'm already making stuff. If I'm already making stuff whenever we get here, I think it's less boring than me having to be like, what was I doing last for like the entire time right after you guys show up. I think that's for the best. Okay, let's see. But yeah, we've got so yeah, we've got a new baby, and at some point, whenever I come in here, or whenever, like one of my streams, she'll probably be back here, like on a bouncer or something like that, and I can like, you know, maybe hold her up or something like that. Nothing too arduous, nothing too like strenuous on her or anything like that. Let her relax. But it'd be kind of cool, I think. He's a very happy baby. She's very chill. She's like our first daughter. It's like so chill. We used to say we knew, we were like, we're new parents obviously at the time. We're like, we're new parents, and we knew, I was always telling everybody, she's lulling us into a false sense of security. Any further children that we have are gonna probably be way less chill, you know, way less relaxed, and we're gonna be, you know, way overwhelmed by them, and or partially at least overwhelmed by them. And that turned out to be exactly true. Every child we had after her was way more rambunctious. Like to climb on things and stuff like I did as a kid. I got my comeuppance from my childhood. And we've been having to deal with that for years. And then we have Guinevere, and she's just very chill. She sleeps really good. Like I said earlier, she spit up in my wife's face, but that was just a one-time thing, so far at least. And like she's very, very chill, very relaxed, and likes to just, you know, hang out. Sort of like what do you call it? Just like, you know, she will lay there. She'll get into a mood where she just wants to sit there and like a bouncer and just like look around. Which is kind of rare because most kids can't move their neck whenever they're first born, and she is not as good at moving her neck as all my other kids were. They were all very active with their necks because they were like 10 days late and stuff like that. 10 days past the due date. But with Guinevere is she's a little less active in that regard than everybody else as far as like the ability to move her neck, but she'll just sit there and find something and just look at it, just examine it. You can see her eyes like moving all over, looking at all the details, just relaxing and stuff like that. She puts everybody else, all my other kids, everyone but my first kid, like that was how our first daughter was. Very observant, always, you know, with her eyes everywhere, like staring at things. And that's how Guinevere is so far. It's also, after you pick a name like that, it's like you got to get used to it, because like one of the reasons why I keep saying her name, full name, and not calling her Gwyn. When my oldest daughter calls her Gwynny, my younger daughter calls her Evie, because Guinevere has the EVE in there, and she's like, I don't want to call her Evie. She's learning to spell, so she's like, I want to call her Evie. And then my wife and I call her either Guinevere or Gwyn, depending on the moment, and we're all just trying to get, you know, used to having another person in the house. Let's see, that is a decent slope, and then it's going to go into this other part that juts up. I think that's lined up with this part of the thing right here. It's part of the structure there. Let me double check. Yes. Oh, it's about as wide as that entire staircase. That's good. That's gonna be cool. And apparently, actually, the slope should be more like this, which also works out just fine. So I like it. Here we go. There we go. And then this one is going to go into that next part that goes up. I think I'm going to do another one of this rock as the base, because I think that this rock, whenever it goes this direction, is a good start to this. And I might have more than one of them in it to make the appropriate slopes and everything like that. Like this will work out just perfectly. Like that, I think. It needs to get a little bit bigger this way. Fill out half of the space of this piece. This upward jut fills out, and then I will duplicate it and put it the other way and have that be the other side, which will then need to be taller by a lot, which will also make it not look like it's the same piece again. It will warp its appearance a little better, side by side with one another. Have them sort of clip into one another in this clean way. This is not going as smoothly as I would like. It's causing it to kind of jut out like that. But I'll figure that out in just a second. That needs to go down into the ground a little bit. There we go. As I look on the back, I think I'm going to have to put a third one back here to sort of connect the two together into a spire. But this is good so far. Let's get one of these down here. Okay, let's see. So yeah, we had to move. Our December, January has been very active. We move. We had to have a new baby. We had, you know, it's just been crazy. I think I need a very flat surface, very close to flat surface, that I can sort of lean into this because the way that it needs to be lined up with this floor. Oh, that's not what I want. There we go. There it goes. This needs to be wider. It feels a lot more stable. Is Forge actually more stable, everybody? People who have been forging while I've been away. Is Forge more stable now due to updates, or is this just because of the internet actually working on my computer now, at my end now? Like having no packet. No, it's not so much packet loss. Is that was the big thing. It was like the speed was one thing. The guy who came out, he plugged his device into the cable that my modem plugs into. You know, it plugs directly into my modem, my actual cable, my coaxial cable. And his device was getting 500 megabits per second, which was still not, it was still not, you know, 1,000. Excuse me. So, and after he did that, he was like, yeah, okay, I'm not even, he got 500, and he was saying, okay, this is, if I send this in like this, if I send this picture in, you know, they're going to come back and they're going to tell you, okay, before we send anything out to fix your cables, before we pay, you know, send any technicians to fix your cables and everything, you have to fix your local internet because your local internet is slowing you down, and it should be getting 500 at your PC because clearly it's not 500 coming out, it's just 500 going in. So he was like, so I'm not going to take this picture. I'm not even going to take the screenshot. I'm going to let you know. I'm going to let them. I'm going to pretend like I didn't even see that because because first we need to fix our hardware stuff. In his opinion, which I agree, is first hardware on the outside of the building. That's their job. Then after that's been sorted, we can start considering what to do about the inside stuff. You know, if there's anything that needs to be done about indoors, you know, equipment like modem and router. And so he was like, yeah, so I'm not even going to send this picture in. I'm going to, he was like, oh no, look. And he hit the button to clear out the screen. Like, oh no, it didn't save off. It was very funny. And then, very performative. So he did that. And then, after getting the internet, or after getting that, yeah, it was just, you know, after he went outside and replaced the entire cable, it still wasn't getting good internet. And he was like, yeah, your junction box out here needs to be repaired. And I was like, okay. So he was like, yeah, so it is in fact our equipment, and it needs to be fixed. I was like, cool. Now we know. Thank you. And so he went to go basically send somebody out to sort that out. Because he was not allowed to do that. He was a contractor, and they have other technicians that are their actual like they're actually like on work directly for Cox, which is my ISP. You know, those those technicians that work directly for them. But he was a contractor instead. So he had to send out somebody else to actually do the repair and also to bury the cable. And they were supposed to come out, bury the cable, and fix the junction box. But then whenever they arrived, they didn't fix the junction box. they just buried the cable, and they didn't even really bury it. There was already a conduit line going through that that was perfectly good from the old one, so they didn't need to bury it. They just had to feed it through the conduit that already existed. And so they did that, and that was great. But then they didn't actually fix the issue though. So it was like, okay, well now I need a third technician to come out and actually fix the what do you call it? The said it earlier, the junction box. And they're like, okay, so we'll send a third person. It was like, cool. And they're like, but this person's going to be back to the tier 1 a contractor again because we have to have a contractor verify first. And I was like, but you did have a contractor verify and you didn't do, and then your technician didn't do the job. So they sent out eventually they did send out that next contractor. And I was like, come on guys, you've got to, that's not what I want to do, I want to copy it. I was like, come on guys, you got to, if you're going to send out a tech, and then they don't do their job, and then your customer says, hey, listen, the speed didn't change, you gotta send the guys back out again. They did something, they didn't finish it or something. Surely at that point you'd send somebody out. You go off the original work order and you say that someone already made a request for people to come out, you know? Surely that already happened. The first contractor already made the request for this, so you guys can send out another, you know, like tier 2 tech, I guess. The actual, called it guy with a bucket on the back of his truck is what the technician referred to him as. Or the contractor said they'll send a guy with a bucket on the back of his truck, and that's the lift, you know, that allows them to lift up and see and get to cables and stuff like that. Yeah, so basically they were like, yeah, no, we've still got to verify, we have to send somebody out, it's required. We were like, and I was okay, whatever, I guess just do what you need to do then, I guess. And so they sent somebody out, and it was fine. You know, he came out in the first thing, and I was like, look, he was like, okay, you want me to come inside? I was like, you can come check all my equipment if you want, but let me tell you about what happened so far. And I let him know, and he was like, okay, yeah, I'm not even gonna come inside, I'm gonna go over there to the back, I'm gonna check it. And he checked it, same exact thing, massive packet loss, 500 megabits per second at their junction box. And I was like, and he was like, okay, yeah, that's definitely wrong, and we need to send somebody out. So they sent somebody else out, and he was like, and this guy showed up like right as we were going out to go get something to eat, because we were not doing a home meal that day. We were going to get fast food that day. And he got there just at the time that we were leaving, which was like 2 days later. Every single one of these service calls took like 2 or 3 more days after the previous one, which is one of the reasons why I've been out for so long. Obviously the baby was one, the move was one, and then after all of that, eventually got to the fact that I was having to wait for these guys to come out, and they were taking like several days each, like 2 or 3 days each. One of them took actually like 4 or 5 days, the first guy. And that was just because it was right after New Year's, and they were all coming back from New Year's and probably had to build up of service calls from Christmas and everything like that from their break, and they were trying to get caught up. But yeah, so then that all happened, and then I had to let's see, what's the most rounded rock? I think literally the boulder is, but I don't think I want that round of a rock. I think like this would clearly be the most round rock, but that might be, since it's a sphere, it might flip into the building. It almost certainly will. This one's not bad. Yeah, that should be fine. So yeah, then they got out, they finally solved it. And I still didn't think it was solved for a little bit. The reason was because it turned out that I know I never touched the setting. But it turns out that in addition to those speed issues and the massive packet loss, which was the real culprit of an issue, I would have been getting 210 megabits per second instead of, let's see, I do want this, kind of this angle. Let's see. I kind of want the. I wish I could mirror this right now. This rock would be perfect if it was facing the other direction. But it's imperfect this way. That's not good. Oh well. It'll do, and then I'll just have to put another rock at the bottom to finish it out. It'll do to get my... Oh, actually, it slopes directly into the ground. I can just... Whoops. Scale it up a little more. Put it into the ground. Do this. Do something to that effect, and it should give me my curve that I want. Eventually. No, it's going to end up scaling up too much, I think. Anyway, so yeah, basically, yeah, I forgot what I was in the story, but that was where it, we basically, oh right, I was getting to the part where it was actually, the part that was actually apparently my fault, but sort of my fault. So I never touched any settings whenever we moved, but I used to get 230, 240 megabits per second in my old house. But this was required. This was maxing out at 210, and it was finally. I was like, okay, I've got to figure out before they send out a fifth tech. Before they send out a fifth tech, I am going to check my settings because I did see an increase of speed to like 210 to 210 to 220 all the time. Whereas before it was maxing out at 210 every now and then, but most of the time it was like 150, 190 in that range. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to check my settings on my router and modem. So I plugged directly into the modem from my PC. I took out the router completely out of the equation and plugged directly into the modem. And what I found was that it was getting 900. And my PC immediately got 900 something megabits per second. I was like, okay, so this guy did do his job this time. He did it. Okay, cool. That's fantastic. Now, I need to find out why it's still not working. So what I did was I checked my modem or my router and found out that whenever I moved in, the very first thing that I did after plugging it in was I found out there's a firmware update. And I just went with it. And then now I come to find that that is probably the culprit for part of the speed problem. Because as soon as I went into the settings, I went, oh, well, there's some stuff that's on that I don't recognize. I definitely don't remember having ever seen it before. So I checked, looked into it, looked online, and looked into what it could be, what could be causing it. And at this point, it was like, okay, so now that I'm only getting 210, 220, there's been an increase in speed somewhere along the line. And so they did their job, so I'm going to try this. I turned off what had been turned on automatically by this update, I assume, because I don't recall having ever turned it on before. That was called a metered connection. And if you know, network devices, then you probably already immediately are like, ah, yes, I know what you're talking about. But, like, basically the metered connection apparently was causing me to have it was trying to divide my speed between all of my my ports, right? And as it was trying to divide the speed between all the ports, the thing about that is that I didn't have anything else plugged in. So to me, I thought that the modem wouldn't be even trying to do that. So, but it turns out that there's a metered connection. And the metered connection does that no matter what. It just goes, yeah, no, I'm going to divide this among all your ports right now. I don't care. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Well, in that case, I'm going to turn that off. So I turned it off, and it seemed to solve the problem pretty much immediately. And I've been getting good speed ever since. And I was able to plug in my computer and my wife's computer, and both of them are moving very nicely, in very good speeds, and everything like that. So that finally resolved all of the issues. There's just a fill-in of everything that happened and why I've had... Oop, I didn't mean to do the lighting build. Let's just tap it. Oop, wrong side, dark side. Okay, here we go. So now, can't quite jump there. That's good. Can you clamber at all? No? Good, because there's not supposed to be a way up right here. Oh. Uh-oh. Well, if you crouch jump, you can get there. Let me see if you could do that at all in the original. And let me see how high that's supposed to be, because I just did it off eyeball from the, what do you call it? Blender? And, yeah, no, it's not supposed to be there, like, at all. It's supposed to actually end at the slope there, sort of protrusion. Okay. Well, I will go back to this and take a look at what I can do about that. I think it's supposed to end pretty much here. Okay, well, let's rotate this. I might need to put that thing back through there so it doesn't poke out as much. Definitely need to scale this down. Yeah, there we go. Make sure that's not poking up through the ramp. Nope. It's all good. Okay. This piece needs to go further over. There we go. Now it's not poking out and looking all bad on this side. There we go. Looking good. Looking real good. This base is coming out. It's coming together. Let's see. Yeah, that's like the account of what happened for me. I mean, I'm sure there was more. There's so much more that's happened in the last like month or two. I've only like let's see. Okay, my last month, December, my dad got COVID for the 3rd time because he's refusing to get himself vaccinated. And of course he's going to get COVID again and again and again if he doesn't get vaccinated, because his immune system can only fight off one variant. But he doesn't want to accept that. He wants to insist that that all he needs is vitamin C, because every time he gets it, the first thing he does is he gets his vitamin C stuff. My grandma is a like a, what do you call it? She's acupressure. She does acupressure in Houston, Texas. And but she also does like a whole bunch of other stuff involving, like, you know, natural medicines and stuff like that, which are great because they boost your immune system and let your body fight things off more naturally. And they work. But the problem is that he's taking it as like the only thing he needs to do, and he ends up getting COVID because it's like, yes, your body can fight off that variant better if you use, you know, vitamin C. Cool, good job. You got pat through one variant of COVID, and now you're going to catch it again and again and again, and he has. He's been a poster child for that. Basically, he's caught COVID, like I said, 3 times. So, and he's perfectly okay with it, I guess. He's, I guess, happy to be catching COVID and getting over it and being fine with that, I guess. Like, excited to do what I'm saying. Like, he's just like, meh. He didn't care. But anyway, so that happened, and then we also had a couple other things. Jeez, it's been a couple of months. I'll put it to you that way. We've had a couple of adventures, as my mom would put it. We've had some adventures. Okay, so I placed this, and then I went to move the other piece and like pulled it right out. Made it where it didn't need to be placed the same way anymore. And I'm trying to get a good, like that. Okay, I think I know what's going on, that I'm doing wrong. Okay, let's see. This slope is fine, that slope is fine, but they actually don't need to be poking out as much. They were good, more in where they were. Problem is that this needs to be angled more, and be sloped down, and be kind of shorter. It's doing that too long. And I need it to sort of just be like a little kind of slope right here. Just like that. That looks good. Perfect. Sort of rolls off. Does it look good from underneath? Yeah, that looks perfect. It looks like dripping has sort of started to pour over that edge there. Okay, so you can jump up here without the aid of a box, of a crate. I don't know that that is a good thing. So I think I need to, what I think I'm actually going to do is shrink it and then raise it up. Because that will flatten that top part a little bit. There. Now, no, you can still get up there. Without the aid of a crate. Bring it up closer to the edge there. Okay. Unless you can clamber. Well, there's a clamber spot, but clambering is new. So I don't mind leaving it there. It also means you can't just, like... It'll be a lot harder to just sort of camp out inside your base, which is good. Oh, you could also work with player blockers. That's true, too. I could do that. I could just put a little tiny player blocker there and prevent you from getting up there. That is a really good point. Okay. This out just a little more again. Get look and angle it a little more. Make it look back to how good it looked where it looked like it was dripping down. Maybe slope this a little bit more. Actually, I can bring this over there. Is that poking out? Yes, horribly. Okay. Bring this back in there. And then out this way. Perfect. Okay. All right. Ooh. Didn't mean to open that. Okay. So now I think I'm going to duplicate this and then shrink it and use it up here. And I might be able to now flip it over to the other side where I liked the curvature of it a little more. Because there is supposed to be a sort of ledge-looking part that goes into the back of this. You can kind of see it right there on Master Chief Collection, but, well, I can kind of see it on Master Chief Collection right there. But it might be too small for you guys to see at this angle. This, you know, particular juncture. Let's see, if it's basically, actually that would probably be even better. It's basically just like where it wraps around on itself. Creates a little lip like that. It's just above the ground there. So I'm trying to capture that. Let's make it actually bring it up a little bigger. And there we have it. Music! Oh, it just occurred to me. Can't believe I forgot to turn on music. Okay, alright, alright. The whole stream. Here we go. I will have to adjust this the volume, so hopefully that's not a problem for a moment. I think this is where I believe I was keeping it before. And it was working pretty good. Let me know if that's too loud. This is a good theme to start with. I like this one. Okay, so we've got that curve. Let's go even more of a tilt. Actually, this one kind of feels like it needs more of a tilt. It should slope out a lot more. There we go. If that's too loud, let me know. But if it's just right, either tell me or say nothing. All will be understood. Let's see, I think that we need... Still needs to curve around. Okay, I think at this point, this piece that I've been using for its nice curve is going to be what's going to be next. Well, I used a... Let's see, like this. I think that this is probably what's best here because it needs to curve, but it needs to be straight on the rest of it. And I think that it would be a good fit right here. Oh, come on now. Let's see. Alright, this is going to be in the way. Massive clipping issues. Terrible, terrible. Okay, yeah, none of that works. Okay, I need to rotate it a lot if I wanted to clear that spot. Still wrap around. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think that's actually how the inside of that looks. Let's go take a look at Master Chief Collection. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so it should line up perfectly with that. Maybe I should just build out the interior of this cave and not hope that this one piece happens to line up with it, and just make sure this piece doesn't get in the way. But while I say that, it's also like, I mean, this isn't bad right there, as long as it looks good on the outside. I mean, it looks okay, but it's not perfect. Have to do this. Reposition it in there again. I think the one non-Halo theme that I'd love to be able to put into the stream, but I can't, obviously, due to copyright, would have to be like a couple of themes from one like soundtrack I'd like to pull from would be if I could pull from what do you call it? Cowboy Bebop. If I could pull from Cowboy Bebop, that would be amazing. Because their music is, like, phenomenal. I think that must mean that I like jazz. Because ODST is phenomenal. And I like Cowboy Bebop's music as well. I like that, like, sort of orchestral jazz, you know what I mean? That they do in, like, movies and TV show. Regular jazz is really cool, like, real jazz is really cool because it's, like, you know, improvised and stuff. But, I like jazz whenever it's been curated, you know what I mean? Which is, I know, like, an antithesis of jazz. That's not what you're supposed to want for jazz. It's the whole point of it. But yeah, that's what I think I like. In other words, I like jazz instruments and I like jazz style, but I don't, I'm not completely sold on jazz itself as being, you know, entirely improv. Or not entirely improv, but heavily improv. Okay, so this is going to give me a good roll off. Let's do it like an angle. A slope. There we go. Actually, that makes it feel like gravity is pushing the drips this way. Or I kind of did like it being more like this. So I think I'm going to bring it back to this angle here. Figure out how to make it fit in there. But, yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's see. Should be, yeah, it kind of protrudes out, curves around. Okay, good, good. Now I need to make that piece actually slope into it. This piece here, I need to grab one of these and duplicate it. And I think this back one is going to be the biggest of the three. So I'm just gonna sort of fit it in like this. There's gonna be some interesting spots back here if I don't watch it, where someone with a grappling hook is gonna get up here and snipe people. And I don't think I want to introduce new areas like that in this version of it, at least. Because that would be unreal. That would not be one-to-one. So I do need to watch what I'm doing here. I've already introduced at least one of them. Not really snipe, more like if you could hide up here, which I'm pretty sure you can right now. If you grapple shot up here, you could get the jump on anybody who comes around this corner, which would be a new, weird, defendable point. And I don't know that I like that. You know what, maybe not this piece for this part. I think what we need to do is actually go ahead and grab a piece out of our stalagmites and stalactites. This rock here, which is not much more round. Let's see. Let's find it, because I don't need to... Chunk C. Wait a minute, what is this one? That one's chunk A. This one's C. C is not bad. It's very nice and round. It's curved, which means it won't introduce too many new hiding places, variables to have to account for, presumably. Okay, get a bit of a clipping, sort of clipping issue. I wonder if this one wouldn't be a better option than that one for this curve. Let's see. This one. Okay. Well, actually, this side looks a little better. This side might be able to handle this very nicely, actually. I hit random, by the way, and yet it somehow picked one of my favorite songs. Alright, that looks really good. I'm going to need to probably clean this area up a little bit. And then I need another one of these to go on this side. And it probably needs to be much smaller. Here we go. Yeah, this is also where, like you were saying, player blockers. I could leave the rocks looking nice and then put a player blocker there that sort of just slopes it. Makes it to where you just fall off and you try to land there. And that would definitely solve this problem here where you could, get behind here and slam people. Huh. Interesting. There's actually a sort of lumpy kind of ledge in the front. So this is actually pretty accurate to line it up at the back and not line it up at the front. Allow the front to sort of have these lumps. It's actually accurate to the map. I could theoretically angle it just a bit more in like this. Fit the slope a little better. But yeah, this like lumpiness in the front is a real thing. It's like here. It actually is not quite lined up. Or is that a little lower? Might be a little lower. Might be more that this and this need to be brought in. And this as well. But there's a lumpiness here. Calling it a lumpiness, which is not descriptive at all, but not a good descriptive term for that. But essentially, what is this? Is this the actual piece supposed to be here? Yes, I think I might have grabbed the wrong piece earlier and moved this out. Which actually needs to be shrunk down if I'm going to move it, but I'm going to put it back there. Which looks good back here. Where'd that little piece go? Nope. I think I put it so completely inside of it. Is this it? Yeah. There we go. Okay, so this piece can rotate back this way. And then I need something to make the... Come on now. Quit rotating my directions. The directions that's affecting. Let's see. Something to be this sort of area here. Here we go. Some more sedimentary. You know, build up layer right there. Doesn't quite line up with that other side. I don't like that. I want to build up and sort of match that edge on the right, because if it doesn't, it feels weird. Goes into that piece. It works out great. If it sort of like slips down into it, it'll look even better. Kind of ruins the flow of these rocks here. Let's see. And since this is a stalagmite, it actually does need to have flow. Very much so. That's how it was built. This, I think we'll fix that. Oh, no, wrong direction. There we go. By interrupting that flow with more downward drips from this column, I think that should introduce that, like, yeah, once upon a time it was flowing down that way, but another drip started forming here. Made it worse and worse until we have what we have here. Now this, I think, is still kind of ruining it. There we go. Well, kind of. Yeah, that was kind of important to be where it was. Just like right there. Yeah, that's good. We've got our little ledge, our little lump. I think it could be slipped a little more inward. There. That looks really good. Good flow. That looks even better. Okay, cool. Perfect. Okay, and now we gotta come up from there, which could be something like this. I don't think it has a divot like that, though. Let's see. Well, actually, it kind of does have a sort of flat side. Not really a divoty kind of side, but it's flat. And this thing doesn't go all the way up to the ceiling. Huh. This is an honest-to-goodness stalagmite. This piece should be a little bit shorter, but it should also be melted into the floor. And then, oh. The thickest side over there. What? No, just the red direction. That's the x-axis. And maybe we'll do a little bit of the z or the y. A little more. There we go. Okay, now we need to make it look nice on both sides. I want this to sort of justify the multiple split pattern of this thing. Make it we could have different paths that the water drips down, forms at different angles and everything over time. This kind of looks like a chunk of it got blown out right here. This is the way this happened. What might be interesting is in my glow up version, I might stick a piece there that can be blown off and fall down into the base. It could become cover or an obstacle or whatever. Just into that little groove. I'd put little destructible pieces in a lot of different places if I wanted to. Should actually be pretty cool, I think. What's this? I don't know. Oops. I don't know which one it was that I used for the tops of the stalagmites before, but that is what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and find. Let's see. I'm going to take this one out of the prefab and duplicate it because it's a nice pointy boy. Let's see. Gonna increase the size. Also very rounded, which works out pretty good for what I wanted. And yet has a few sort of subtle points to it. That work out just right. Direction. Another good soundtrack that I could put in. Oh, tired. So how far is this? So we have floor. We have this ramp. I've started wrapping the base around the back, and I'm currently building out the rock structure on the building itself. So I don't have floor back here, but I've got floor everywhere else around the base. And the reason I don't have floor back here is because I don't know where these rocks are going to land. I got to build out these rocks first, and then I was going to build the ground going around it and use it as a guide. So that is how we're doing. Aaron, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in forever. Obviously, I guess technically I've never seen you. Technically speaking. But we've met online and haven't seen you in chat in forever because I haven't been on in forever. Tired like usual. I mean, I chatted with you, in Discord and everything, but obviously. But yeah, okay. So we've got. So how much far? Let's see. Did we get this the right size? Is this the right scale visually? No, it needs to be way taller. And actually, it's kind of just right so far. And we need to have one more spire coming up at the top. It makes it even taller. So that's where we're at right now. Tired like usual. Yeah, I know the feeling. We're just talking about how I have a new baby. We named her Guinevere, and she's keeping us awake. And then we've got a new, and then we've got the let's see, this is way too tall and skinny. I mean, and chunky. Here we go. That's a good transition point for where it would change direction a little bit. Actually, you know what? I'm doing that wrong. It's not supposed to change direction straight up. Yeah, apparently, they have it tilted a little bit to the right, like that. And I need to rotate it around so that the flat edge is sort of pointing up toward the ceiling still. actually, no, it slopes a little bit this way. Just not as much as that. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, okay. I think I need to do one more of these and actually tilt it and put it into here to give it a sort of slope to that, into those pieces. And that looks really good right where it is. Just stuck it there and it just happened to be a really good spot. There we go. As the rock comes up out of here, this will look better in the back. But yeah, there we go. Personally, I feel like it needs to be tilted a little more toward the upward direction. Like it's being tripped on, you know? There we go. And that is about how high it should be. That actually also shows that this should be way higher. Or rather, I can leave that there, but basically put another one here and try and scale it. Long time no see. How's the internet doing? Much better. I am getting 900, like 800, 900 megabits per second now. And I have been like, there's no more packet loss. Everything is solved. Everything should be good. That looks much closer to the original. I've been, and you'll still be lagging in multiplayer. Yes. I haven't actually, like, gotten to really play multiplayer since then, but I guarantee you that's probably true, because the servers, it's about the servers and not about me in that regard. I'll probably have to, I really need to get into this, the JFO helmet. I need that JFL helmet, because that's what I've been using since Reach. I want to, I've been building out my original Spartan from Reach. I just completely buried that other piece, and so I did not need to make a copy of it. It's 100% inside of this piece. This one? Yeah, that one. I can just delete that one. Okay. That looks much better. I think I might adjust this piece to be a little more... Oh, wait, which piece is that? What's that one? No, it's that piece that I want to angle. A little bit more gradual of a slope. There we go. But yeah, I want to unlock that helmet, so I do eventually need to get into into multiplayer again. I have not touched it in so long. I did actually play a little bit of it during Christmas, but only because we had such bad internet. I was like, the servers already are going to disconnect for me, so I might as well, or like have issues for me. Everyone's having issues with the servers, so I might as well, since I can't forge, you know, take this opportunity to do to get some multiplayer gameplay in. And so me and my wife played a little bit like that. I'm on world instead of object. That's why it's rotating weird angles. No, I was trying to do... There we go. Weird for what I was expecting anyway. I don't want movement for object. I want movement at world. There we go. Alright, there we go. So I did get some multiplayer done. I don't know if you guys are... I think everyone is probably friends with me in the game, so you probably saw me hopping into multiplayer every now and then. That was whenever my internet sucked. And I was like, yeah, I just gotta... I was like, I'm just gonna go and have fun for a minute while it's giving me trouble. So I believe that this is actually where, in the front... it slopes forward, yeah. Right at this point, in the front it slopes out forward, but on the sides it keeps going up as a conical kind of shape. So right here is where I would grab this and duplicate it, probably is what I should do. I can flip it over, so I get the the side that gets a little fatter up higher. And then I can just do this. But actually up here, I can really just... Actually, you know what? No. I'm going to do... Which piece? This one? This piece, I think. Right? I think this piece could be used here. Let's flip it over. Here we go. And then we can scale it up. And then just put one on each side and keep the sides sloped in like this at an angle. Delete that one. And that way I've got my, like, thickness to it, you know? I don't have to rebuild the thickness. By putting like a facade all the way around, you know what I mean? This may not work. The angles may not line up between the two pieces to make an actually good shape. I might need to find like either just the right rock or see this event's horrendous. Oh, you don't like this event? Joint ops cripples a man's soul. I'm not getting anything from that pass. You know, the joint ops like game mode, I haven't played enough to have an opinion on it yet, but I've heard nothing but bad things like that, so I think I'm pretty much probably gonna end up agreeing, but who knows. I only want the suspenders at tier 4. I'm probably not even getting that. All I need is the helmet. I have everything else for my Spartan except for color. Actually, color and helmet are the two things that I'm waiting on, or two things I need. And the color, I doubt, I don't even know if they're gonna they're gonna build me a color scheme that I like. Because, color scheme that I'm waiting on is is basically, I do green up top, and I think I might have explained this before. I feel like I might have told you guys this before. I do green, for most of it, but then I do white for the legs. And it's supposed to sort of simulate a sort of, you know, a kind of, like a snowy kind of effect. A snow trooper kind of effect. Because Waterworks is my second favorite map of all time, and my favorite is Sidewinder. And I also love Assault on the Control Room. So that was just kind of like that's probably one of my favorite multiplayer, or like single player, like campaign maps. Out of the entire series. It's probably Assault in the Control Room. I play it all the time. Basically, let's see, where are we? Yeah, that's good. So basically, like, I've got that kind of theme going with my Spartan in Reach, and I would like to be able to do that as well, but unfortunately I have to do I use the green and gold from the HCS event, like the free green and gold color scheme that they created, which is pretty cool, and that's close enough, except for all the gold should be white, and yeah, or well, all the accents should be white instead of gold, but the green and gold is fine. It reminds me of Legend of Zelda. But yeah, so that's kind of what I use for my color scheme, but I'm waiting on them to make something close to my actual color scheme that I use. Okay, so this needs to be way taller. I just realized I'm sitting here moving around these short little nubby things because they were the right height for their proportions before, but they were not correct scale to the to the roof before. This also needs to get wider as it goes down before it kind of goes down to here. Right around this spot, and or well, no, maybe more like here, right around this spot here. It goes up from there, and then it slopes in, and then it goes up, so this is way too wide. It should be more like this. At this point, I'm beginning to ask myself if I think I know how I'm gonna do it. I think I know how to do it. Whoop, that's not what I want to do. Let's see, this one is going to go this way. And it's going to be my side slopes. Okay. I'm going to do that with it. Then the front and back are still sloping up instead of... Well, actually, they're even flat, looks like. Oh, no. Almost flat, which is perfect, because that means they won't get in the way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this one, which is upside down, and rotate it so that the sloped sides are poking out this way. I'm just going to put them both inside of each other and have one of them be... let's see, we're going to go... Yeah, that is the slope side. Okay, there we go. And we're just going to make it longer than the other one so that it can poke forward out. You know, poke out forward and back, then make it thinner. Okay, I think I've got possibly the wrong side that I'm making thin, because I know there's one side that has like a nice flat surface by comparison. Maybe it doesn't line up. The flat surface doesn't line up with the scales. Yeah, I think I like the like, do y'all not like the event because of the game mode it's forcing on us, or do you not like the event because of the objects in the event? Is what I'm wondering. I'm thinking that it's the game mode, and that the items are like, meh, they're all right. But just to clarify, I figured I'd ask. The game mode is dumb. Is dumb bad? Yes, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that's what it was. It's the last time it came around, like I said, I didn't get to play it all that much. And I played it probably 3 times. But that, I guess I didn't have to not play it. I think I was just going to other game modes that I preferred. You know? Okay, this may not work like I was hoping it would. I think I've got to flip it over too. And I've just got to... I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I might just have to put another piece. Illinois. I need a phone call from Illinois. That's random. Jeez. Okay, this is becoming more and more of a column, like a straight column as I make it taller. Whenever it's shorter, it's got a slope in it, like this one. Whenever it's this tall, I'm just gonna start over with this one. I guess I'll go back to how I was doing it before with the slope by sloping it like this. Oh wait, it's the other way around. Right. Okay, it's just completely wrecking my angle here, isn't it? Okay, here we go. Okay, it slopes outward. There we go. That's what I'm trying to do. Alright. And then this one needs to probably turn around. Yeah, it's already sloping. Wait, was that the wrong one? Yeah, it was. That was the one that I had just sloped. Okay. This one goes sort of low. This, if it'll go in there. There, that goes nicely with that slope there. It's like 343 wants to bring people in for these events, and then they use bad game modes to leave a bad taste in return in players' mouths. They're sabotaging. It does kind of feel like that. Or it feels like someone at 343 is trying to sabotage. Maybe there's a bad actor trying to make everything bad, wrong, badong. We'll find out eventually. I'm sure they'll do an investigation, right? Surely they want to know what's going on in their company and find out why it's going this way. But the guy in charge of multiplayer seems like a cool guy in the videos whenever he's talking, but he doesn't always seem to make good game modes. My daughter's awake, and she's hungry. Let's see. Okay, this is definitely clipping through really bad. I'll need to figure out a good rock for this. I might have to do facades here so that it doesn't have that middle part poking through the ceiling. I might have to do flat pieces like these. In which case I might need to grab... Oop, nope, not that one. This one is a good one, because it has a very flat side right there that I can put downward toward the floor. What is happening to this theme? The only event that was decent was the yappening. I loved the yappening too. Like, that wasn't just decent, that was great. And I feel like they're trying to make these really highly strategic game modes, but they need to do different. Like, okay, here's a sort of a take, right? Not really a hot take, I suppose. Maybe it is. I don't know. But I think that they should fix the custom settings so that so that Infinite can have Halo Reach style loadouts, not Halo 4 style loadouts, but Halo Reach style loadouts if you want to. To where some game modes can have them and some game modes won't. Because that was one of the biggest problems with Halo Reach's system, was that it was not optional per game mode. It forced itself on the game modes and then the game, on the players, so that the players had to, accept this as every game mode is like this. And I think that that was one of the main things that people actually had a problem with, even though they think that even though people say the problem is the thing itself. I think that it's not that it's the thing itself. I think they're mistaken. I think that the reason that people complain about it is because it was forced on them. And I think that some game modes could benefit from it. Like, imagine that one, this stealth one, except you have to pick what you're going to have, as your loadout. So it's not just one side has, invisibility and this, and one side has this and this, but it's actually more like Reach, where it's almost like a invasion style kind of thing, where it's like, yeah, no, you're gonna have to go in and you're gonna be dealing with some people being stealth elites style thing, and some people being this, some people being that, and in the end you've got a much better, much more interesting sort of strategic and tactical game mode. Because I still need to make that video. I'm planning on making a video about difference between strategy and tactics, and there's a third thing. It's not just two. It's not just strategy and tactics, and how the U.S. military uses these terms, and how it can apply to game design if you actually reinterpret them to go with how the U.S. military defines these terms. You can actually do better game design, and I just haven't done that yet. I was not in the military, by the way. I just do a lot of reading. But yeah. And I feel like it would be a really good thing for game designers to understand that there is a difference, and that there are different terms, and that that if you know this, and if you understand this, if it's like internalized, whenever you're game designing, you can think about what you're actually putting into the game a lot more clearly. And I think that would, and I haven't, obviously I've not been able to design a game, so it's hard for me to say. I know for a fact that this would make things better and easier, and yet I'm very confident that this would actually make things easier and better and result in a better game. But anyway, I'd have to make the video to make my case on that, I think. Because it's just, It's one of those things. I'd have to prove it. I put my money where my mouth is by... Well, that would be designing a game, which I have done, but haven't actually built the games yet. So started, but not actually made much progress. If I wasn't, you know, having all the moving and the baby and all that stuff over the course of the time when my internet was down, that's what I would have been doing. Was I would have, or not down, but bad. I would have spent that time, you know, working on my Unity project, and that would have been a good use of my time. But having a baby is a much more important use of my time. Okay, let's see. So we are getting a nice facade here built. I could talk about it, I guess, if you guys are interested in hearing my take on that. And then I could make a full video on it later. I don't know, would you guys be interested in hearing me ramble about strategy versus tactics versus operations? I don't remember if I've already done that. Have I done that? Nobody's saying anything, so I assume that either I've already done that and I'm annoying you, or I haven't done that, but no one cares. I would be much more interested in a YouTube video format for that kind of thing. But let's see. Here we go. Is this going to line up? I think this is going to work out good. Yes. It's a good facade. This is not a good facade. We need to delete it. Okay, now there we go. Okay, this one is a good one because of that angle. It works out great over these corners. There we go. Got a good facade around that corner. And then we need the rock to actually go down this way, all the way to the ground. I don't remember if this is, I don't believe that is exposed. Oh, it is. Okay, yeah, that's exposed metal. And then there, okay, so what we need is, next is, I copy this. Put it down here, I can bring it, I can use it again down here. And actually, it doesn't need to go around that piece because it's not a doorway, so I just need this flat edge. Sort of go in there. That subtle curve goes up into there. We'll actually keep that that wall kind of good and flat. You know? Oh, huh. I think this is not supposed to have a crack here in my structure, which means I need to widen these pieces into there to make a proper little... It's got an alcove there, but it's not... Let me see. Let me go to Master Chief Collection, run over there real quick, because that'll be probably on the opposite side of the base from there. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it's just metal. Interesting. What was that? The infinite flashed for some reason. So what I'm saying is that not only is this gap not supposed to be here, it's not supposed to be because the column goes that way. It's supposed to be because this wall should be thicker. And I guess that makes sense, because look here. This corner here probably should be lining up with this corner here, if I had to guess. So I could just pop those pieces out and scale them out and make them line up. I think that'll fix the problem. But I can do that a little later on. I keep on getting that. I need to turn that off, notifications for that. That's the reason I was talking about the AT&T thing earlier where spammers are getting through, is because that's what that notification is. Every time I get one of those, it's an email telling me that there are people replying to the thread or about the spammers that I had commented on. And I'm like, oh, okay, I don't really need to know that. I don't really care enough, you know? Like, thanks for informing me, but not that interested in that thread. Okay, so this side is actually kind of devouring. That frame right there is getting kind of devoured in this, just trying to get it to line up, so I think I need to make it flatter. The subtle curve needs to be even more subtle, that's what I'm saying. Oh, nope, no, I thought somebody said something new. Thought I had missed something. There we go. That's a good rocky, trippy surface. Okay. That's interesting. It's coming along. It's coming along. Looks like a crown or anime hair. Okay, let's see. Okay. So I think that I've got to go feed my daughter. She is awake. Okay, guys. So, that was good. It's coming along. I'm gonna work some more offline, like I typically do. I do that whenever I'm having them do their schoolwork right next to me, right here, at the desk. Did it freeze? Huh, it's really far behind. Thought it was 15 seconds. Interesting. It's like 30 seconds behind right now. Huh. Anyway, I'm watching it. Like that. See ya, have a good one. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I'll catch you guys later, and see you in the next one. Let's see, how do I end stream? I don't even remember how to do this stuff. Okay. Alright, so yeah, I'll catch you guys later, and like I said, I'll do some stuff off stream, and maybe this stalagmite will be finished by the time I get back on again, or something to that effect. Alright, thanks.